All right, so remember that when you're identifying if it's periodic, it repeats exactly in the same pattern. Okay, so for number 1, it is periodic. It's 2. Okay, you want to find 2 values to find the period, right? So this here, this is at -1.5. This is at 1/2. The distance would be 2 units. Now you don't have to use that one. You could use here to here. That would be fine. So this is at -1. And then this is at, this is at -1/2. And then this is at 1.5. Okay, so together that distance would be 2. Okay. Alright, and then 2 is not periodic. So the front of this page, you had to find the amplitude, the period, and then write what the transformations are. So the amplitude is 5. Remember, the amplitude is always positive. So even if you have a negative here, your amplitude is a positive 5. Okay, and then the period here is 2. Okay, and this one should actually be switched. I can flip-flop these. So I'll do that one with you guys. Okay, so the A value is 5, the period is 2. It's a reflection over the x-axis. There's a vertical stretch by 5, a horizontal compression by 1/pi. Now, for this one, because there's a negative, we have to flip-flop these. So this should be -5 here. This one should be +5. Okay, so this is going to go to the min, this is going to go to the max, and then because it's signed, you start at 0, 0, you end at your period, and then 0, which was 2, and then halfway is 0. Normally, halfway in between, you go to the min, okay? Now, halfway in between, you're going to go to, you normally go to the max halfway in between. But because of this negative, you're going to flip-flop it. Alright, and then for B, let's look at that one. Okay, so for B, you have a vertical stretch by 3, the horizontal compression by 1/2pi. How did you guys do with the flipping when there was pi with it? You put it on the bottom, so you just flipped it, do the reciprocal. And then your amplitude is 3. So because this is cosine, you're at your max at the start. The period was 1, right? Because if you do 2pi divided by 2pi, that's how you get your 1 value. So this is where the period starts. It ends at 1. Starts and ends at the max. Halfway is the min. Halfway in between those would be 0. And then that's what your graph looks like for 4. And we'll go back into your other graph. For number 4. Yeah, so they do cancel out, so you get 2. So when you're doing the period, right, you're doing 2pi over b. So if you're doing 2pi over b, you're doing 2pi over pi, which was 2. So that's what you got, right? Okay. So the pi, so the pi's do cancel out there. So it's your 2pi over pi. That's how we're getting the 2. Okay, and then for the first one, my scale was a little bit different for this one, but this is the correct graph, not the one on that page. Okay, but I went out to 3. Actually, I'm going to do arts and crafts today. Do you guys feel like you're doing a good job with the table with those? With the sign? Okay. So, for this one, okay, so for this one, if I was doing my scale, if it's 2, then that means I'm just gonna go by 1/2. So this would be 1/2, this would be 1, this would be 3 halves, this would be 2. So it's the same thing that we were doing with pies, except we don't have the pies in there, right? Because we did negative pi over 2, negative pi, negative 3 pi over 2. So it's the same thing, we just don't have the pies in there. So at 0, 0, that's the one I graph first, and then I graph the end of it. And if I've done this right, this halfway will be 0, and then halfway in between, because this is a reflection, we're going to go to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is all the way here, and then I'm going to go up all the way to 5, which is here. Did you guys use the same scale as well? This scale here? No. What did you guys use? Oh, so did you have a lot of? Okay. And then you just keep continuing the pattern. So I went 1, 2 down, so now I'm going to go 1, 2 up, and then 1, 2 I'm at 0, then 1, 2 I'm at the minimum, 1, 2 I'm at 0, and then if I could go over 2, that would be up. Alright, so there is your graph. Let me just do this so you can see it better. Alright, and then for number 5, let's graph that one together as well. Okay, so there's a reflection over the x-axis, a vertical stretch by 3, a horizontal compression by 1/4. So when we're doing this, okay, this is sine, so it starts at 0, 0. It ends at the period, and that's a 0. And then to find the halfway, if it's a fraction, just multiply by 1/2. Pi over 2 times 1/2 is pi over 4. Pi over 4 times 1/2 is pi over 8. So really, for this one, you should be going by pi over 8. And then because you have the reflection, you're going to go to the min and then the max. And it's only because of this reflection. So the reflection flips the order of the max and the min. Okay, so you're still going to start at 0, 0, but at pi over 8, you're going to be at negative 3. Oh, and I like to do start, the end, the middle, and then up. Okay, and then I just follow the pattern from there. So I'm going to go over 2 to the max, over 2 to the middle, over 2 to the min, over 2 to the 0, and then if I went over 2, I would be here at the max. Remember to connect these with a curve, okay? Alright, and then we'll go over the rest of that tomorrow. I'll also just post the videos of me going over it for you.